Welcome back into the North Star Takes podcast. I'm Bailey Policki. He's Jacob Liberta. And today we're going to be starting a mini series on Minnesota Vikings head coaching candidates. And we'll just give a short little brief summary of who they are and why we think they should or shouldn't hire them. And we'll start today with Nathaniel Hackett from the Green Bay Packers organization. Obviously, their offensive coordinator, who's kind of a hot commodity right now. Several teams are lining up to interview him. The Vikings got a chance to do it right away, which was kind of nice. Previously with the Buffalo Bills as their offensive coordinator, and then went to the Jacksonville Jaguars as a quarterbacks coach and then offensive coordinator. So I guess right off the bat, Liberta, what are some things that you like about Nathaniel Hackett?
I think there's things I like about him both in a football sense, like statistically and on the field and off the field, and just being a people person, really. I think you hear guys like Aaron Rodgers and David Bakhtiari really beat the drum for this guy. I think that says a lot about him as a person and being able to really relate to these guys, especially when you talk about Rodgers and you talk about how much of a unique personality that he has and how hard it is for him to connect with some people. It sounds like they're really intertwined there, and that's what makes it work so well ever since LaFleur's been there and Hackett's been the offensive coordinator. I think that's probably a good reason, or at least part of the reason why their offense has been pretty good and pretty solid. Obviously, it starts with Aaron Rodgers, but again, it's nice to have that coaching staff too. That helps a lot, and so I think that's a big thing going for him. And then I also think statistically, I love him a lot just because this offense ranks top 10 in the league in basically every passing category at least, and they began to run the ball pretty well this year too with their two horses with Jones and Dillon. So that's obviously encouraging. And I know we got a good stable running backs as well. And you think about going back to the passing game, though, that I really want to emphasize here going forward, this Vikings team, being top 10 in yards per attempt, passing yards, 20-plus yard plays, 40-plus yard plays, really all the makings of an explosive offense. I think that's huge for me and new head coach and being able to bring this offense to another level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, some Vikings fans would be like, well, I don't want to coach from the Packers organization. But it's like, they've been doing something right there ever since Matt LaFleur's been there. They've won 13 games every single year. And obviously having Aaron Rodgers helps, but having a coach that's been around Aaron Rodgers and is willing to soak in, stuff that Aaron Rodgers has taught him.
True.
I think that's super important as well. So, and I kind of like that, he's been in the NFL for a while. It's not like he's, just a spring chicken of an NFL coach that, has basically no experience like a Clint Kubiak.
Sure.
So I don't know. I kind of an unnecessary shot at our boy.
That's a little big.
But so I'm intrigued by him. I didn't really have any thoughts about him up until he became a candidate and they had interviewed him, and there's been some steam about him. So he's kind of quickly rising my rankings, though, I'd say, just based on the stuff you hear about him. Some of the video clips you see of him giving a press conference or talking to the media. So I think all that stuff's very encouraging. And like you said, you need a guy that's got a leadership type personality. Obviously he needs to know the X's and O's, but just being able to, command the entire team, have the respect of the entire team. That's really important after what was clearly a fractured relationship with Mike Zimmer here. So do you have any cause for concerns with Nathaniel Hackett?
Yeah, I'd say my big one isn't really a true concern, I guess. Like it's a thing in the back of my mind, I would say, and that's him not calling the plays here for the last few years. I know LaFleur calls all the shots there, and that's a little bit worrisome. But again, I don't think the play calling should be a really end all kind of thing for who our next head coach will be or not. So, and he's called plays in the past before too. So it's not the end of the world because this guy does have experience. It's just not recently. So that's a little bit of a worry. And then I guess there's always that factor too when you talk about coaches that are working with guys like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or something, that it's like, how much are they riding the coattails or not? Like you kind of got to think about that too. But I don't think there's too many huge concerns for me here because, like you mentioned, I love that you brought it up that he's got a ton of experience in the NFL. It's not like he's just been in the league for a year or two or something like that. He's been near like 10 years, and from the Bills to the Jaguars, everywhere. So I think there's been a lot of success with the Packers, obviously, and I don't really have any too big of concerns with Hackett.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Like the play calling thing, it could be a concern, but at the same time, it could also be a benefit to have a head coach that doesn't call plays and just focuses on game management and timeouts and challenges and all that stuff, because that's something Zimmer was horrible at as well. So, it works both ways. Like, yeah, you might have an offensive coordinator that calls plays and you end up losing him after a year or two. But I'm still of the belief that if you have an offensive head coach, you have that system in place, he just simply lets someone else call the plays. And he maybe even gives an influence in certain situations throughout the game. But that's why I just think it's important to have an offensive coach, but he doesn't necessarily have to call the plays. So that's kind of why I'm warming up to Hackett more, just because I think there's multiple ways to look at what you need in your head coach. So
that's true.
Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I guess, how impressive is he to you, and how likely would you be to hire him?
I think he's a solid 8. I would say this is a good candidate. I think he'd make a great hire for us, and I don't think you could go wrong here. I think, again, my only concerns is just what kind of offensive system he'd want to implement here. I guess just playing to the strengths of what we got already as far as cornerstones of the franchise.
Absolutely. I'd give him about 8 as well. So I think we're on the same page there. So that's going to do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Please give us a follow on both Twitter and Instagram. Be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button as well if you're a Minnesota sports and Minnesota Vikings fan. Leave your comments below. What are your thoughts on Nathaniel Hackett? Would you want to hire him? Would you want to hire a coach from the Packers organization? Leave your thoughts below and stay tuned for more of our coaching series videos coming up here. So thanks for watching.